Hi, welcome to Industry 3B's Zapato's essay. My team and I have prepared this presentation for you to explain our business strategy game results, also known as the BSG game. We will be discussing our results from years 11 through year 17. My team members' names are Melanie and Russell, and my name is Chandani. I will be discussing the strategic vision, strategic group map, for North American wholesale segment year 11 and year 17, and the trend in revenues. Melanie will be presenting information on the prices and SQ ratings for North America, the return on equity, year-end stock price, and strategic planning exercise. Russell will be discussing the competitor analysis on Infinity Kicks and our lessons learned. Zapato's essay is fully dedicated to distributing quality shoes for an affordable price around the world. We do not want our customers to have to choose between shoes that will last or shoes that are affordable. By having great prices for even better quality, we want our customers to start the morning off with confidence so that they have their feet covered and will be able to enjoy their days. Our initial competitive strategy in North America was to produce a high-quality shoe at a low cost and become a leader in the shoe industry. We strive to offer a competitive price and market our shoes to produce acceptable revenues and profits. We learned that this was a challenge in the industry. We did alter our strategy in year 13 in an attempt to make up ground, but reverted back and refocused on our initial strategy in year 14. Which helped increase revenues and profits, as you can see in the exhibit to your left. For the North American wholesale segment, year 17, the years throughout 11 through 13 were difficult years for us, and we were learning experiences for our company. Reeling from substantial loss, in year 14 we focused on the SQ rating, price, and model availability. We saw favorable results after year 14. The following are comparisons between year 14 and year 17. Our credit rating score increased from C to B. Our image rating increased from 71 to 82. Our EPS increased from 0.24 to 4.97. Our ROE increased from 1.6 to 21.1. Our stock price increased from 5.16 to 63.51. Our trends in net revenues. So we started off at year 11 and we went up to year 17. I believe we did really good, gradually going up in our net revenues and not going down. So starting at year 11, we were just about at 500,000. Year 12, we were in between 500,000 and 600,000. Year 13, we were on the dot at 500,000. Year 14, we were in between 500,000 and 600,000 again. Year 15, we were just below the 700,000 mark. Year 16, we were just a little bit above the 800,000 mark. In year 17, we were a little below the 900,000 mark.
Hi, my name is Melanie Gallardo, and I'm one of the co-managers of Industry 3. Company is Zapato's SA. I'll be discussing some of the financial numbers. I'll begin with the prices and SQ ratings for North America. As indicated by the graph that you can see on your screen, our internet price is indicated in blue, our wholesale price is indicated in red, and our SQ rating is indicated in yellow. Our internet price for year 11 was $68. In year 17, it ended at $78.98. Our wholesale price for year 11 was $48.50, and our year 17 wholesale price was $56.48. Our SQ rating for year 11 was 6.2, and our SQ rating for year 17 was 58.4. Our return on equity, our ROE, for year 11, it was 14.3, the BII was 9, and the investor expectation was 14. For year 12, it was 13.1, the BII was 11, and the investor expectation was 12. For year 13, it was 6.9, the BII was 5, and the investor expectation was 6. For year 14, the ROE was 1.6, the BII was 1, and the investor expectation was 1. For year 15, it was 13.7, the BII was 6, and the investor expectation was 11. Year 16, it increased to 25.1, the BII was 18, and the investor expectation was 19. And then we ended year 17 at 21.1 with a BII of 12 and investor expectation of 16. So our year-end stock price, so for year 11, the price was 12.17 and the investor expectation was 14. For year 12, it was 8.9 and the investor expectation was 4. For year 13, it was 5.64 and the investor expectation was 2. For year 14, it was 5.16 and the investor expectation was 1. For year 15, it increased to 15.31 and the investor expectation was 3. For year 16, which was the highest year that we had, it was 100.28 and the investor expectation was 16. For year 17, it was 63.51 and the investor expectation was 8. Our strategic planning. So for year 15, our target EPS was 1.75 and our actual was 2.22 with a score of 6. Our ROE, our target was 10% and our actual was 13.7% with a score of 10. Our credit rating was a B with an actual B and a score of 14. Our image rating was 75 with an actual image rating of 82 and a score of 16. Our stock price for year 15 target was $10. The actual was 15.31 with a score of 2 and our annual score total was 48. For year 16, our target EPS was 2.25. Our actual is 5.27 and our score was 10. Our ROE for year 16 target was 12%. Our actual was 25.1% and our score was 18. Our credit rating target was a B+, our actual was a B-, and our score was 11. Our image rating for year 16 was 77. Our actual was 83 and our score was 17. Our stock price target was 15. Our actual was 100.28 and our score was 8. Our total annual score was 64. For year 17, our target EPS was 2.75. Our actual was 4.97 and our score was 9. Our ROE target was 14%. Our actual was 21.1% and our score was 12. Our credit rating target was an A. Our actual was a B and our score was 14. Our image rating target was a 78. Our actual was an 82 and our score was 16. Our stock price target was 25. Our actual was 63.51 and our score was 5. So our total annual score for year 17 was 56. Our overall score performance was a 56, which is the average of the 3 completed years.
Hello, this is Russell Parker, co-manager of Company B, Zapatos San Antonio, or Zapatos SA. And as we look at our competitive analysis and really lay out the competitive landscape, there was three variables that we really want to benchmark against and identify against our competitors versus our company. This was SQ rating, pricing, and the model availability. This helped drill down from the 12 companies in our industry down to 7, which had a 7 or above SQ rating. Now, as we looked at these companies, we know that 3 of them were in the higher side, around 9. 3 of them had an SQ rating of closer to 7, and that left us kind of middle ground around 8. And that let us keep our position through the latter years after year 14, where we refocused on our initial strategy. Next, as we look at these companies, there was a couple things we looked at, and this was primarily the model availability. Whereas Company A was a competitor that we benchmarked against on price, Company I was the Infinity Kicks was the only company that had both the quality that we were providing as well as the model availability. Therefore, they were the company that we followed into the upper right hand of our chart. So quality, model variety, we noticed that they were similar across all regions as well as the internet and wholesale, no matter how we sold the shoes. When we look at North America, Europe, and Asia, these were all three markets where we were following I very closely. They had the advantage a little bit on quality, as well as they were able to get out ahead and be a little bit ahead in model variety as well. Latin America was one market that we didn't have as much share and weren't able to follow them as closely as we got into Latin America a little later than we wanted to. So as we dig deeper into Infinity Kicks, they were definitely an effective competitor. While they had the same strategy of us in terms of offering different models, a lot of variety, as well as quality, they were able to take the position where they were higher priced on the pricing spectrum. Because of this, they were able to take on more revenue, less costs, and be in a better financial position than we were. With both quality and model variety, they were able to take a quicker position in earlier years than we were able to take. Additionally, they were very aggressive on advertising and search engine advertising across all of their regions. This helped them also get ahead of the game. Whereas in the beginning years, we laid low on the cost associated with marketing from a larger standpoint. Celebrity endorsements was another branding and marketing play that they were able to take advantage of, winning bids in earlier years, whereas it took a couple years before we were able to outbid other companies to get on to the celebrity endorsements. All this allowed them to set their prices higher and actually have the highest price in the industry, while still maintaining the same market share around about in every market that we had. There were a lot of lessons that we learned in this industry. First was every aspect of execution must ladder up and align with the initial strategy. At the beginning, we did focus on capacity and we focused on the long term, but we fell short on terms of operating costs and margin early on, thinking that we could make that up. Something that coexisted with that was because we were building out capacity and looking at long term, we were borrowing too much money initially, not knowing the historical costs and how those would play in a factor later. So the operating cost based on the early decision really cost our company to take on more debt, and then we were playing catch up, and that's where it led to our quick shift in strategy in year 13, which leads us to the third lesson learned is stay on strategy and focus on the long term. So after a 1-year strategy shift in year 13 where knew we were playing catch up and we thought we could make it up, it actually hurt us in 13, and so it didn't take long when we're in year 14 we went ahead and refocused on our strategy, and that helped us regain ground and then have sustainable growth all the years after. Lastly, focusing on customers and stakeholders. While we were focused on growth strategy, we didn't put as much emphasis on ROE as we should have in the beginning years. And so knowing that taking care of your customers is definitely important, but taking care of everybody involved, all your stakeholders from an early on perspective is key for the industry. So thank you very much.